Hoy No Mas Podcast presents. Do we live in a simulation? Have you ever had a dream that you were so sure it was real? Free your mind.
Chilo, do we live in a simulation?
I think we do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think we do?
Okay, so we're going to get into all of that and more. I think this whole episode, it's going to be... I don't want you guys to take this whole episode, whether it's real or not, factual. This is just an episode that at times Chilo and myself, or at times with friends, maybe at bonfires, things like that, you just start talking about like random freaking thoughts that you have in your mind. And I've been wanting to do this type of episode for a while, right? Like supernatural things, just quote unquote conspiracies, just weird stuff, right? At times that you talk and you don't know what to believe, if it's true or not.
Yeah, like just let your imagination go.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they say that reality is more weird than fiction, right? There's so many different things that we don't know as the human race, whether if like what the hell is life, right? Like, Are we meant to be here and freaking record a podcast? Are we meant to go to work every single day, pay bills, and
are we characters in each other's lives?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many different things that I've been wanting to like talk about. So if you saw this intro, whenever you guys see that type of intro, it's because we're gonna have that type of episode, right? Just don't take anything like, just take it lightly and just let your mind just flow and just
wonder,
right? Because as kids, you'll always wonder about things, right? And now we just been conditioned about a lot of different things that if you step outside of those boundaries that you were told as a kid, the right away they're like, oh, this guy's dumb, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But as kids, you have so many questions, and it's good to wonder, right? Because imagination is everything, right? For instance, manifestation. Like, I want to get into all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, welcome back to Hoy No Mas Podcast. This is going to be episode 69. I'm here with Chilo.
Hello, everybody.
Chilo, so you're 2.5 weeks away?
Yes.
Okay.
From delivering this baby.
All right.
That's getting pretty uncomfortable already.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you went to your doctor's. Is that your last doctor's appointment you went to?
No, right now I have one like starting this month, June. I have one every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
Okay. And what they tell you?
They told me that so I guess right now the baby, she's about to weigh 7 pounds. And technically, I'm due till the end of the month. But I could wait till my due date for her to come out. But if I wait till my due date, she's going to be around the 8 and something pounds. So she's going to be too big. And the doctor was like, the only thing with that is that if she's too big, then I would probably consider doing a C-section on you. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So the other thing was like, if you don't deliver her by the 39 weeks, we're going to have to induce you. And I don't want to do that either, because I've told Angel that, I mean, I've done my research throughout the pregnancy, but I am not trying to get induced with Pitocin. And that's what I was telling you the other day, because your body naturally produces oxytocin, and Pitocin is a synthetic, like the fake version of it. So Pitocin, what does is like it's gonna make your body do what it's not ready for. So it's just gonna make everything like 10 times more painful.
Right. So it's like an artificial.
Yes.
So it's something artificial for your body to react.
Yes.
And cause it, when naturally you should be doing that on your own.
Yeah. That's why oxytocin is what your body naturally produces. And Pitocin is what the synthetic, like the drug version of it.
Yeah. Cool. Got it. So, by the way, the reason I'm wearing this, I have the glasses on. It is like Chilo, like we're literally getting things ready for the baby. Like Chilo's folding her clothes. She has a bunch of clothes, which we're going to be recording a vlog and put that together. So if you guys want to watch it, I'll make sure I have the link whenever it's ready. But yeah, we're literally like working on things. We went on a walk right now, and whenever you guys see me here, a lot of the times I'm just doing my thing. I want to get ready at times, but there's so many different things that we're currently working on. So if some of the clips do take off on social media, on TikTok or Instagram, and they're like, oh, what the hell is this guy wearing or whatever, and glasses, I don't know. It is what it is. But at least you guys know the background story, that it's because we're literally like, we have a life. This is not our full-time job. This is something we just do as a hobby as of right now. And just because we really enjoy it. But hopefully at one point, with your guys' support, this takes off. And then eventually maybe I will get ready.
Yeah.
Right. But at least we already got to that step that we got to the 1,000 subscribers. And we're getting a little bit more traction, and it's all thanks to you guys that continue watching. However, I do have a call. This is going to be the first caller ever to the Oinamas podcast. I'm hoping that we get more and more people to call in, at least to chat with us, or if you guys want to send us voice messages, that way we can react and interact with you guys a little bit more. So I have somebody calling in right now. She's going to share a little bit of a incident that she had as I think she was younger, and then we'll take off with the whole podcast from there. But at least it'll give us a little bit of interaction with her, and then we'll start off with all the different things we had in mind. Cool. Ready?
Sounds good.
Let's see. All right, so Joanna, so you just I'm glad you can hear us now, and this is the first time. Sorry you can't see Chelo. I just have the freaking the camera that's showing to me. Eventually we'll have a better setup. But we just mentioned that this was going to be the first remote call to the Oinamas podcast. So I'm super, super excited for that. How do you feel being the first caller to Oinamas podcast?
I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yeah.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, I can hear her.
Or it's a little low.
No, it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So we were mentioning that for this whole podcast is going to be a little bit of maybe like supernatural conspiracies, things out of the norm, right? And you kind of briefly shared your story of that incident that you have, right? Do you want to kind of touch on it real quick and kind of explain everything that you remember? Because this is going to be Chelo's first time listening to it, and I forget everything. Okay. So I'll react to it as well.
Hold on, let me close the window.
Yeah, you can hear it good. All right, let me just make sure that I can.
Okay, I just closed the window.
Oh, there, you can hear it better.
All right, cool. All right.
So when I was little, I know that I used to sleepwalk. And when we were living in TJ, I believe I was like 3 or 4 years old. I remember sleepwalking, and we used to live like in this place where there was a whole bunch of houses, but I had to walk some stairs to go down to my grandma's house. And I remember, I don't remember getting out of my house, but I remember waking up and knocking on my grandma's door. And as soon as I opened my eyes, I remember that there was a big tall tree next to her house. And as soon as I saw like up where the tree was, the devil was there. And I was crying, and you know, I was screaming for my grandma to open the door. And I would keep looking it was to my left side, yeah, because her door, yeah. It was to my left side. So as soon as I would look on my left side, he would move and then just start laughing at me. So I kept going. I kept saying, "Grandma, open the door, open the door, open the door." And my mom remembers hearing me because I guess the houses were close together. So that's when she went to get me, because my grandma, she never opened the door for me. And to this day, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I told my mom about it again, and she doesn't believe me. but she asked me, okay, so how did the tree look? And I told her how it looked and how tall it was, and she's like, oh my God, like, yeah, I believe you now.
Oh, dang. So, but you would sleepwalk a lot, or was this the first instance that you actually sleepwalked?
So I don't remember doing it before, but I know that I used to sleepwalk when I was younger, because when we came to San Diego, I did it, I think, twice that I know of. Yeah.
And when you say that you saw the devil, how did the devil look?
So since it was dark, I saw like a black shadow. He was all in black. But I do remember seeing, like, you know, when they say that his legs are like one chicken and one, what is it?
The cabra legs.
Yes. So I did see that.
No way. So yeah, you saw one chicken leg and the other cabra? Like, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Fuck. But I wonder, I even wonder what was the point of you walking out and landing to that pretty much tree. Well, like walking out to that tree and seeing the devil, you know? And you're for sure that it wasn't a dream. You actually walked out, right?
Yeah, I did walk up. My mom told me that she heard me and she had to go get me.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my grandma would always tell me that if somebody sleepwalk, you're not supposed to wake them up because that's bad for them. I don't know why, but you're not supposed to wake them up.
Don't they say that you can die or something?
Yeah, like something happens to you if they wake you up, or you stay like in that trance. It's something like that. It's like an old, like a rancho thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
but you know what? You know what's crazy? A lot of these stories always end up happening, and this happened in TJ.
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason, all these different stories always happen like somewhere in Mexico, right? I never hear of that happening here in like San Diego or the United States, right?
Yeah, I know. It was weird. And when we moved here, I slept walk, but I never saw anything anymore.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. Till this point, are you still sleepwalking?
No. I tell my boyfriend, I tell him if I get out, I'm sleepwalking. You know, if I get out at night, I'm sleepwalking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I sleepwalk to the club. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, I don't know. Do you believe in that, Chelo?
my sister has sleepwalked. That's why I believe in it. Leslie, yeah.
What?
She has.
Does she do it now?
No, she actually just did it one time and she was little.
Oh, so that's a good point because you did it when you were little too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I think the last time that I did it, I was probably like 7 because my mom told me this one time that I sleepwalked, but I was in the corner of the house already.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Huh? And Leslie, how old was she?
She was less than 10. So she was probably like between 7 and 10 too.
Oh, that's very weird. I really wonder if it's just a little kid thing that maybe since as kids you're more connected to the supernatural and seeing things that us as adults we don't get to see.
Yeah, probably since we're innocent and I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because we were just talking about that as kids you haven't been conditioned, so you're more in tuned to things that now as adults that people tell you, oh, that doesn't exist. As kids, everything exists for you. Your imagination just runs wild.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Chelo?
No.
Oh man. Well, to be honest, I'm super, super excited. This is the first time I call. Like I get a call through the podcast, and I want to thank you for being the first guest as a remote call. Well, you already came onto the podcast, but this is the first time having a remote call, and man, I think it came out dope. To my perspective, I think sounds cool that Chelo's able to hear you. Eventually, we can maybe have a different setup whenever I have this, that way you can see Chelo or both of us, whatever. But this is dope, man. Thank you for that.
Maybe you can add an extra phone and add her screen. Put it on mute so you don't hear the echo.
Oh, so you can hear an echo right now?
No. If you add another phone,
oh,
maybe
okay. I see what you're saying.
Put it on mute.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when phones are like close to each other, you can hear it go back.
Yeah, and I think in the past you also mentioned something about elves or elves se llaman?
Duendes.
Yeah.
Duendes, there we go. Yes. So
When my daughter, we used to live in her grandmother's house, and her kids, they say that they saw elves when they were younger, and my daughter, she would play with her little toys, but she would start laughing. She would start laughing like and then she would start talking. I don't know who she was talking to, but then I would just stand next to her and I would ask her like, "Hey, like, who are you talking to?" And she'll just laugh and she'll be like, "Mira, ma, están chiquitos." And I'm not looking, but there's nothing there, so I don't
damn.
know.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it has to do something with kids being more vulnerable to these type of things, right? Because all
Yeah.
these things happen to kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, and eventually we want to have a full-on podcast on just like the Wendy's, and hopefully we have that soon, and maybe you can call in and maybe you can share your thoughts or whatnot.
Yeah.
Cool. Chelo, good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you once again for being the first remote call to the Oinomas podcast. This video is going to be live on Wednesday, so if you want to see yourself.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
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 What you think, babe?
I believe in that.
No, but what you think about the remote call?
Oh. I think it went good.
Yeah.
To be the first time, I think it went good.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Like, I was really, really curious if it was gonna work with like both of our mics, and hearing her and everything. I think it came out dope. If you guys like this type of content that we have, remote calls and things like that, I want to make sure to include you guys because at the end of the day, this podcast wouldn't exist without the support of you guys, right? But yeah, what you think? Good.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Like her story of her seeing the devil and the duendes.
I think that when you're a kid, you're much more connected to all of that stuff. And it's easier for you to see things. But obviously, like, if you tell your parents, they're going to be like, ay, estás loca, or that doesn't exist. They're just going to brush it off.
Yeah. And you said Leslie would sleepwalk?
Yeah. I just remember her sleepwalking only once, though. I don't remember her doing it multiple times. And the only reason is because my mom actually saw her.
Oh, what the heck?
Mi mamá le tocó mirarla, so yeah.
Damn, that must be scary, dude.
Yeah, because
like seeing somebody like sleepwalk.
yeah, and then my grandma Trini, she used to say that I think it was one of her brothers that he used to sleepwalk too, but he would get out of the house and like he would like take his blanket with him and like walk down the streets in the rancho and all of that.
That's
So I remember her
weird.
telling me that as a kid, and I was like, oh, that's so weird. And then later on, when Leslie was like, I don't know, between 7 and 10, that's when she ended up sleepwalking.
So when Leslie was sleepwalking, did it happen here or in TJ?
No, that was here.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just trying to make some sort of connection. Okay. But the whole thing about seeing things like that, I think at the majority of times, que por ejemplo la historia esa, right? About that people see the devil and like the old story, right? That I think this girl went out to dancing,
and that she said that she would only dance like si se le aparecía el diablo or something.
No,
No. That she would only dance.
No, so the story is that she went to the club or whatever, and then when she was dancing with this guy, that he was super elegant. I don't know if it was at the actual club itself.
Yeah, it was at the club itself.
Pero que le miró los pies y eran los pies de cabra.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, dude. All of that, like those ancient stories or tales or whatever. Like, I don't disregard them at all.
Yeah.
Right? So, but okay, going back to the first introduction before the call, are we living in a simulation, Chilo? And why? Why do you think?
Ooh, I feel like we are, and we're just characters in each other's lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, like, what do we live in? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna tell you one, and I feel like you told me this one, and I started picking on it after you told me about it.
Okay.
When has there been? How many times have you seen your neighbor bringing groceries?
You know, it's been very, very rare. I think it's probably been like once of our neighbors next door, right? But I didn't really start seeing that until we had like some sort of interaction with
Yes,
them, right?
exactly.
So to your point, I don't know if it's one of those things that like your neighbors or everybody in like your reality, they're just characters. But once you interact with them, then they become part of your story.
Yeah. Or when do you see them like mowing the? I feel like for me, because okay, the Angel always makes fun of me because he's like, oh, you never like saying hi to the neighbors or you never like interact with them, which I don't. But I didn't even know our neighbor over here, like Danielle's name, until like not too long ago. And until I didn't learn her name, I didn't start seeing like the whole grocery thing or like them doing the yard. And the rest of the neighbors that I don't like pay attention to, like not that I don't pay attention to, that I don't even know their names. I never see them out and about.
Huh.
Or doing anything in the front or like leaving or nothing.
Right. And I even wonder though, but is it because you're not, since you don't know them, you don't really pay mind or pay attention to them, right? Because it's one of those things too, right? That, for instance, like once you get a specific car, let's say you buy a car and now that you have that car, you see it everywhere now, right? Like, oh man, look, everybody has my car. Or not until somebody tells you like, hey, if we're going on a drive, spot a red car. So now you're out there looking for a red car.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're not paying attention, you're just kind of like on autopilot, that you're not paying attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, you're just ignoring everything and being in your little lane.
Right. So what do you think it is? It might be either or, right? It might be that they are characters and they're just kind of like out in the background as extras, or it might be that since you're not paying attention to your surroundings, that it doesn't really exist for your reality because you're not paying attention.
That's true. But then let's say if you weren't paying attention and you saw somebody, wouldn't you be like, oh wait, like where is this person from?
Say that again.
Like let's say like, okay, you're saying that maybe it's because we don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But if you're not paying attention to them, hold on, I got stuck already. I don't know. I feel like that one's a hard one because, for example, for me, like I know, even though I don't know all my neighbors, I know like what cars are not from this street though.
Yeah.
Like the other day when you told me like, oh, I heard a car pulling up. Que te dije que I was staying in the car because there was this car that like pulled up and it looked hella sketch.
Yeah.
And they were coming with the neighbors from across the street.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like.
But that's different. That's like knowing what cars are parked, and you know what cars the neighbors have. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's say, for instance, another thing too, right? Like manifestation. You believe in manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Why do you believe in it?
I feel like I believe in it because it's actually like some things have happened, like things that I wrote down that have happened.
Yeah. Okay. Recent stuff?
No, not recent. I stopped doing it for a while. I haven't been doing it right now, but
okay. So if it's something, for instance, that you believe in it and you know it's worked out, why would you stop? You just feel like it's something that you're so embedded with your day-to-day life that you just forget to actually practice it.
I feel like that's what it is too. And then I feel like for a while I was just like, why am I writing this down if it doesn't happen right now? Kind of like, because sometimes we're like, oh, I want this really bad, and then it's just like time keeps going by and then it doesn't happen, so you just get frustrated and you're like F this, like I'm gonna stop doing it because it's not working. But
that's the thing, they say that at the same time, that's the beauty of it, right? Because imagine if like in manifestation, I feel like it has to be with practice, right? The more you practice it, the more you actually try it, the better you're going to become at it, right? Because imagine everything that you actually like wrote down right now and it appeared tomorrow. what if you're like subconsciously you're thinking of something like a freaking elephant, right? Oh, elephant, and then boom, it's there, right?
Yeah.
I think manifestation has a lot to do with actually taking action, but at the same time, you really wanting it and pursuing it in order for it to come into reality, right? And there goes to say, like, if manifestation, if a lot of people believe in manifestation and you're creating it, I'm a strong believer to this, right? And who knows if a lot of things are actually going to take place and play out, right? But I'm a very, very strong believer that obviously, yeah, you have to think of what you want in life, the things that you desire and you want for your life, right? In order for manifestation to work. Why? Because at that point when you're thinking of these things, you're planting a seed into the spiritual realm, right? So you're creating it into the spiritual realm, and eventually, obviously, the more you water it, the more you nurture it, eventually, obviously, you have to take action in the physical realm, right? In order for this dream or this goal that you want to actually fruition into the physical realm, right? So you're creating it, and then you're pretty much, like I said, you're nurturing it, and eventually with time, it's going to manifest into your reality. Mm-hmm. But I'm a strong believer that it does exist, right? For instance, at times when you take back a moment to really think of your current life, and I think I've mentioned it to you in the past, that at times I think about it like whether this podcast is, just 1,000 subscribers, which I don't take it lightly at all, right? But at times I think about it, I'm like, the fuck, like, dude, we literally have a podcast, like that people watch. People like Joanna just took the time to call in. You guys comment, things like that. At times when I kind of take myself and kind of look at it from a bystander's perspective, it's like, what the heck? Not a lot of people can actually say that. And the reason why, at times it takes me some time to like rethink of it, is just at one point I thought about all of this, right? And it makes me really, really happy, and I don't take it lightly, because a lot of the things that at one point in your life you wanted it, you're currently living. Mm-hmm. The house that we live in right now, even though it's nothing fancy, it's nothing crazy, there's a lot of people that wish we had
that
they had this house, right? A lot of people don't have that fortune, that blessing to even have the basic necessities. Mm-hmm. But as a kid, me growing up in Logan Heights, and we lived in a duplex, so it was just like literally the living room and a room and the little kitchen in the middle right next door. So what they had done is they had split the house in two. So literally we were like wall to wall with our neighbors. And I always wanted a front yard. I always wanted a backyard, because my thought process was like, oh, dude, I want to have like a fire pit, a place that we can have cookouts, a carne asada, things like that. And now I have it, right? So at times when I do, take myself back and think about things like that, it really makes me happy, and it really makes me appreciate how blessed we are, even though obviously as human beings, we're always thinking of what's next, right? And what's next for our life. We always want more and more and more, but it's good to think back on all the different blessings that at one point you desired.
Mm-hmm. Or that you currently have, must be.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Touching on to the manifestation thing. This I was telling Leslie the other day. So, not last year, because right now we're in 2022, I wrote this letter, right? And I said like, oh, by this time, 2023, I'm going to have all of this, right? And the whole point was to write the letter and wait a whole year to see if it happened. So the letter I was supposed to open mid or the end of June of last year. Okay. So then that letter like had really specific things. And then around this time last year, that's when I had the second miscarriage. So then when I opened the letter and I saw everything I had wrote, I was like, I just remember being so frustrated. And I was like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, I'm going to stop doing this. And then now I'm just like, oh, and I remember I ripped the letter and I threw it away. And then now I'm like, so, and now I'm pissed at myself because I'm like, I should have never thrown the letter away, because a lot of the things that were in that letter is what's happening right now.
And what's that?
Like you getting monetized, me being pregnant, you hitting the 1K. And there was more stuff, but that's just like some of the things that were on that letter. So now Leslie was like, because I was telling Leslie, and I was like, dude, like I wrote this letter, but at the moment I was just so frustrated and so upset that none of that had happened. Then I was like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, why am I even doing this? And I threw it away. And now it's like another year like forward, and it's like, look at everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And now it's like around the time that I wrote the letter is now the time that we're gonna have the baby.
No way.
So it's crazy. And now I'm just like, oh, like I'm so annoyed with myself. Like I shouldn't have thrown it away. But at that moment, I was just so like upset.
Why?
I think I was just upset because like of the second miscarriage, and like that nothing in the letter had really happened. So then I was just like, oh, like this is so dumb. Why am I even doing it? And I ripped it. Yeah. I ripped it apart, and then I just threw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get your point. Like, part of me, like, dang, like I wish you actually had it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I get it, right? Because at times, even myself, right, I question, like I've told you many times, like, dude, like is what I'm doing right now with the podcast, with my goals, with my dreams, is it like even worth it? Should I just stopped, right? I tell you these things.
Yeah.
But I know deep down inside of me that I know I'm doing the right thing because my heart desires it, and I just enjoy it and I love it, right? But at times I do need the reassurance at times, right? From somebody sending me a message, or you telling me that no, like I believe in it, and yeah, you're doing the right thing. And just, I think it was yesterday that we were just talking, because Chilla was saying, oh, that you hit the 1K, but nah, dude, like I've told you many of times that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this, right? Because what Chilla does behind the podcast, she's always, taking care of the household, taking care of, like at times doing meal preps for me, pretty much holding down the fort, and coming onto the podcast before Chilla would help me like edit it here and there. Now got it to the point that I'm able to take care of it without like interrupting our day-to-day life, right? But at Cello, all of you guys honestly are a big part to this podcast and to my goals and dreams. So I don't take any of this for granted. And especially right now, like the people that are supporting at the current stages of this project, the podcast, I don't take it lightly, and I can see the people that support. So I just want to say thank you to you guys. But yeah, when you say that it's me hitting the 1,000, it's all of us. It's you. Because if you don't have a good partner in your life, trust me, your life can be a whole different reality. It's happened to me in the past. And I feel like finally this has been ever since we met, right? And we became a relationship. I feel like at that point I was able to like be truly who I am, right? At times when we're by ourselves, like me acting like a fool, like just being like joking around, all these different things. If it wasn't me that I felt good with myself, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to come and just here do my thing, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, you're a big motivation. You're a big help. You're a big contributor to that. And at the end of the day, we're a team, right?
Yes, sir.
So have you practiced the manifestation lately or no?
I haven't, but not manifestation, but I've been meditating. And I feel like for me, like meditating, it just helps a lot. And
to tell them about what
the light thing?
Yeah, the light thing when you started meditating.
Okay, so when I started meditating, I want to say I started meditating and got into manifestation probably like over a year ago. And I followed this like 15-minute meditation thing, and it was like I was doing it on the daily at that time. And I want to say I was probably like not even a week in of doing it on the daily. Maybe it was like my 5th or 6th day. It wasn't even day 7. And I was meditating. The meditation is 15 minutes long. So, and it's like on YouTube. It's nothing like I was doing it by my own. Well, I mean, I was, but I was following the video on YouTube. And then all of a sudden, I just remember like having my eyes closed, and I was in my vanity room. So all the the curtains and everything was closed. I didn't have any lights on, and I just felt like if somebody grabbed a flashlight and they just like pointed it to the middle of my forehead. And I remember like meditating and breathing, and I was like, what the hell is this light? I didn't get scared or anything, but I was just like, this is so weird. Like, why is this light coming here? Like, why is this light like just beaming in the middle of my forehead? And I remember like after that, every time that I've done meditation, even if I go months without doing it and then I start doing it again, I always see the light.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember at one point I was like, okay, this is weird. So then I made a TikTok about it, and then I got a few people comment on it, and it said that it was probably because I opened my third eye.
And they say that that's common, right? When you get into a meditative state, that things like that do come up.
Yes.
Right? And then it got to a point that you saw a different color, I think.
I don't remember. I think I did, and I think that, don't quote me on this, but I think the different colors means like your different chakras. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So even that, right? Like even meditating, like what the hell? Like what's meditating, and why do you get to see a flashlight? And what was it? I don't know if it was you or we talked about it, that when you get in a meditative state, even though you have your eyes closed, that at times you can see. Or no, am I tripping?
You can have visions.
Okay.
And then after that, okay, so then it was a couple times that I saw the light, and then I was like, okay, let me try something else. So then one time I was meditating at night. I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna meditate at night to see if I still see the light. And I was in the room, like just sitting in the middle of the room with the whole room pitch black, and I was just listening to the audio, and I saw the light again, and I was like, okay, there's no way I'm tripping out, and it's something else like reflecting in the daytime that I'm seeing this light. Because I was like, if I can see the light in the pitch black, and I had my eyes closed, it wasn't like I had my eyes open.
Dude, that doesn't scare you, dude? Like,
no.
Just to like turn off all the lights and just like be by yourself?
Dude, I've always like, I've seen stuff like growing up, and I feel like I've never been scared.
Nah, but you got scared now, because even when we had that episode of like the whole like Fantasmas, the ghost, right?
Okay, yeah, but that one I feel like just because I feel like I was personally getting attacked.
But you feel like at this point you wouldn't like be scared to, like you don't get scared often as much as would you say?
No.
For instance, like I've tried meditating with cello, right? And it just it's good to clear your mind. At times we get so consumed with the physical realm and being on our phones and all that. So I tried it, and I never got to see that, but I feel like it takes practice, right? But me doing it by myself, turning off the lights, I'll be like, oh, fuck it. Like, I don't know, my mind will start like running wild. I feel
well, that's why, like, your mind is so powerful that you need to be like, no, like, I'm the boss here. Because if not, your mind's going to do whatever they want with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad. So this is the thing that I have with cello, right? I like that mentality of you, right? But you need to apply that to your day-to-day life, right?
Yeah, like what we were talking about earlier in the walk.
Yeah, like for me, I've always been like a goal-getter, right? I've always been like, no, you always push yourself more and more, and I've always been into like working out and things like that. Right now I got chubby, that's why I'm like kind of wearing like things. I want to say it has to do with the pregnancy. Obviously my diet hasn't been the best, but eventually I want to get back into like working out like I used to. But something that I tell Chitla, like at times when I've told her like, hey, let's do this for a walk, or let's go this way because there's an uphill, like right away she'll like switch her mindset and be like, no, I'm going home. Like, why? Like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to go uphill. Like, why? But it's so weird that you have this mindset of like, oh, that your mind, you have to tell your mind that you're the boss, but then you're at the same time, you cut yourself short when it comes down to like growing personally.
Yeah.
Right. So I want you to apply that into your personal self, into the meditative things and all that. And maybe you are more in tune when it comes down to like, you know, being connected, right, with a higher power, but at the same time apply that to your own persona. Personal life. Your persona, your personal life. Because I strongly believe in you. You can do a lot of things. And then we decided to go to that uphill that Chelo thought it was like super, super steep. and you did it like nothing. We stopped like midway for a couple seconds, but then you were done with it. And you always say that like, oh, that wasn't bad. But you always set those boundaries first.
Yeah.
And you need to stop that. And I say that because I truly believe in you. All right?
Yeah.
So it's I just the only reason why I bring that up is because you have this dope mentality that we can do this in manifestation, but then at times it clashes with your other thoughts.
Yeah.
And you set boundaries. But in all of this, you should know that there is no boundaries. Mm-hmm. So are you going to make that change?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that is? Tell the people why you think that is. Because you've done it many, many times.
Fuck, I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is.
But why? The flojera? Maybe is that just that? Because it's been mostly, just so people know, it's been mostly when it comes down to working out, like to going on a walk or going on a hike. It's always like she always wants to stop herself. And that's the only thing that I can really like spot it with. Everything else, I feel like you're on point. But everything when it has to do with walking or running or anything like that or hiking, you set that boundary. Like you can't do it. And then I'm the one that pushes you to do it, and then you realize like, oh, okay, that wasn't
that bad.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Just weird, right? Like I wonder why. Like, why does that thought come into mind as soon as I mention it?
I don't know. I just feel like I go into like freeze mode, and I'm like, no, I can't.
But then when you do it, what does your mind tell you, or what do you tell yourself? Like, damn, like I did it again because I pointed it out. When you actually do it, and later on, do you ever like think back and like, why did I tell myself I couldn't do it? Or you're like, fucking angel.
No, it's not that. I don't think I tell myself I don't know why I couldn't do it, but it's just more like, okay, like that wasn't bad. Like,
yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah.
But it's just the thought of like, oh, we have to go through here. Like we have to go up the hill. Like just thinking of that, it's just like, okay, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? There's this, it's a metaphor. Don't quote me on it because I don't know it exactly, right? But they say, I think, and you guys can look it up later, right? Or correct me, right? But I think there's the cows and let's say the toros, right? The bulls.
Yeah.
Supposedly, and like I said, I don't know if it's true or I don't know how the quote goes, right? But supposedly the cows, when the thunderstorm comes, the cows run the opposite way, trying to avoid the rain and the thunderstorm. But what's happening is that the thunderstorm is going that way. So what's happening, the rain is pouring on the cows throughout all this time, throughout the storm, right? Since they're trying to run away from it. So this thunderstorm is falling on them.
Just chasing them.
Yeah. In comparison to the bull, when the thunderstorm comes, they go direct to it. So what happens is that instead of getting wet like throughout the thunderstorm because the cows are running away from it, the bull will face forward and face the actual thunderstorm. And guess what? As soon as they face it, it's over with. Similar to when you have to deal with any problem, the more you set it aside, it's going to be haunting you. It's going to be in the back of your mind in comparison to like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. Like, let's just do it right now. Like, let's face this.
Yeah.
And next thing you get it over with, like today, it wasn't that bad. Right.
Yeah,
and that goes with anything in life. It's at times it's easier said than done, but I've applied it to at times to my life, and I've realized that I think that's probably one of the best things, right? Like for instance, if you want to compare it to work, at times if you make a mistake at work, you're like, fuck, I really screwed up. Maybe you sent the wrong email or made a mistake on ordering the wrong materials. When you actually take the time to like, you know what, I made the mistake, there's always a solution for everything. Right. So
Yeah.
think about that, Chilo. Next time you want to, when your mind, let's practice that. When your mind wants to tell you no, just be like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
let's practice that. I have another note that I want to make sure. Okay, so dreams that seem reality. Have you had dreams that seemed like they were actually real? Oh, for instance, you recently had a dream of a baby boy. Your sister had a dream of a baby boy. And while Chelo's pregnancy also had a dream with a baby boy.
My mom did too.
Really?
Yeah.
But the thing is, and even yesterday or the day before yesterday, I told Chelo, like, please verify that it is a baby girl. Why? Because we've bought like a lot of different things. More than anything, Chelo has bought a lot of baby clothes and the people that gave her things for a baby girl. And we have a lot of items. And I'm like, man, what if it's like something happened that they made a mistake, even though we've gotten multiple ultrasounds, but it seems like we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when we deliver, guys, it's a
Nah, I think there's no way, dude. Like,
yeah, I don't think at this point. I don't think there's a way.
But isn't that weird? Just dreams. Like, what are dreams? Right?
Well,
like,
have you ever had a dream that actually happened?
I don't. Not that I could actually think of. Can you?
I've had.
Really?
For me, I think the scariest thing is I haven't had one in a really long time. But for me, and this was when I was young, and we go back to the whole thing that we're talking about, Joanna, when you were younger. I would dream of somebody dying. Like, for example, I could dream right now of somebody passing away that I know in this lifetime. But once I start dreaming of you, like, constantly, that you're passing away, then you're passing away.
The fuck? But this was when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I would be like, oh, I think this person's passing away. Y al tiempo se moría.
That's crazy.
And I don't know what that is, but the first time that happened to me, I don't remember how old. I might have been like 12 at the most. And I remember this person, her dad was sick, but not sick to the point that he was going to die.
Yeah. And
he was sick, and this person was like pretty upset. But this person, she never, like, her kids, none of them know their dad. So I think by this you're gonna know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then she was like all upset that her dad was sick, and she's like, oh, I don't want him to die, and all of this stuff, right? And I remember I said this to my sister, and I was like, oh, now she's suffering. Now she's gonna go through the pain that she's put all her kids through, like, of them not knowing their dad. And then like a week later, the dad passed away.
That's crazy.
And then that was the first time. And I remember that time I got pretty scared because I was like, dude, like what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And then later on in my dad's side of the family, there was like I want to say it was a couple years that every December somebody would pass away. And then it started being like kind of like a guessing game. And every time that I would be like, oh, I think this year so-and-so is going to pass away, that person would be the one that was passing away. And when I started realizing that, I was like, okay, I'm not saying anything. Like, I didn't want to think about it anymore because I was like, what if it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it happened a couple times.
Yeah, like, for instance, Julian, which I'm trying to have Julian, my cousin, on the podcast. Thank you, Julian. By the way, he watches all the podcasts, so thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So actually, he's very, very. I think, to my opinion, right? I don't want him to come on the podcast and it's like, there's a guy that you thought he was super smart. No, but in my perspective, I have a lot of respect to him, and he's a success story. But I just want him to come and have a conversation, not just only about him, just chat, right, like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But something that he's mentioned is that a lot of his dreams do come into reality, right? For instance, one brief one, he said that he would dream about like this like motorhome or whatever, and he would dream and walk through it and all that. And I think he's told his wife about his dream, and the next thing you know, when they went out to go visit a family member, it turned out that that motorhome was there, and everything that he specified in detail, it actually did happen that the motorhome was there, the color, the inside of it. And so it gets you really thinking right now as I'm saying that, right? I'm thinking that maybe dreams are just part of your different timeline, right? That you're tapping in since you're not creating a blockage for yourself, right? Because when you're awake, your mind is running through so many different thoughts,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. But when you're asleep, I guess, in quote unquote, you're in a meditative state, right? So it might be that since you don't really have that many thoughts, your brain or your mind is tapping into another timeline. Maybe what happened, for instance, in this case, Julian, maybe he fast forward to that occasion of him actually seeing this motorhome, and when he went back and woke up, right, he went back to his current timeline, but not knowing that in his dream he already lived that.
Like a deja vu?
Not a deja vu. He already lived that, right?
Okay.
So in my thoughts is that all these different time frames in time doesn't exist, right? So when you're in a meditative state, when you're doing ayahuasca, when you're doing all these different types of psychedelics, at times I feel like since time doesn't exist, you're able to like go from one place to another, different timelines. So that's why at times people like yourself, people like Julian that are able to, or things that actually happen from dreams, is because of that. Maybe you tapped into a timeline of the past or the future. All right. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I really, really feel like it's that. I've said it in the past that I dreamt with my dad once he passed. I dreamt him twice. He told me he gave me reassurance that he was fine. I got to see my dad as a younger self, and I was walking with him, and I remember, this is after he passed, so I remember seeing him as a younger self, and I was just so happy that I got to see him again. And me knowing in the dream, I already knew that he had passed, but I was a little kid holding his hand. We were crossing the street, and I would see him, and I'm like, oh, he's young. And then I'm like, I wanted to see his face, but like, I guess in the dream, like I could sense that my dad, and I don't know if he wasn't allowed to do so or not, but I know that he didn't want to like look at me or something, because maybe in that realm, like, oh, you can't or whatever. I don't know if they get in trouble or whatever, but we were crossing, right? And then I'm like, Padre, like, I want to see you. This day, like I told him again or something, and he turned around and I got to see his face, his young self. And I remember like if I were to be almost skipping after I saw his face, like I got to see my dad again, right? So yeah, it's just crazy. Like it just gets you thinking of what is life, right? It's just actually, and I've said it in the past, but maybe you guys forget or whatnot, or maybe you guys didn't see that episode. But through ayahuasca, I myself have received that message that this whole life experience, it's a virtual reality. Julian, my cousin, he also got to experience the same message that this is a virtual reality. I remember this robot almost figure that he was showing me a screen through ayahuasca, right? And he was showing me the screen, and he's like, look, this is all an illusion. Like, this is all just a virtual reality. Yeah. So it gets you thinking, like right now, we as human beings, we're creating AI. We're creating like our technology is getting smarter and smarter. And at the end of the day, they're going to have kind of like a mind of its own. If you really think about it. Yeah, conscious, right? That you even wonder that if at one point they're going to think that they're real
and we're fake.
Yeah, right. So to their mind, it's they don't know. They just know that they exist, but they don't know that we created them. Same thing with us. What if, obviously, and this is like not to get into religion or anything, right? But somebody created us, right? The higher power, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. But one quote that I like is that for every creation, there's a creator, right? There's no question about that. Whatever you guys title want to give it, they created us, the human species, the world, the universe, right? So I lost my train of thought.
You just said that for every creation, there's a creator.
Yeah. So it gets you thinking of like, what is life and who created us, right? And it gets you thinking like, what if like we're just part of like somebody else's AI? That even though like us, we're creating robots, right, with eventually have consciousness. What if they created us, not robots, with flesh and bone, but they just put this consciousness on us that we call soul or spirit, right? It just gets you thinking of like, what
There's
is
like a million things that you can think about. It's just crazy.
Like even just the universe itself, like the sky itself, right? Something as basic as, why is the sky blue? Do you know why the sky is blue?
Well, I know when we were in elementary, they would always say it was because of the ocean.
But what about in the desert? There's no ocean there.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And there goes to like, why? And as a kid, I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're right, but what explanation, something as simple as, oh dude, that's a sky, but right now that I told you, well, what about in the desert that there's no ocean? So what then? What explanation can you give there?
I don't know, unless it's just the way that our eyes perceive different colors, that we see the sky blue.
And that's the thing that gets me to question everything, right? Like, for instance, what are your thoughts about like, and this is people are gonna be like, oh, what the heck? And like, for instance, but what are your thoughts for like, is the world round or flat?
I think it's flat, but then I think we're hollow too.
Like a hollow earth?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like it can be flat and it can have like depth to it. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I to be honest, I agree with that. I don't. They found islands or another civilization. Pretty much, I think it was in China. There was like they found this hole, and then inside of this hole, like it was pretty much a huge cave,
like a rainforest, no?
Yeah, like a rainforest, and it was huge. That it had its own ecosystem. That it would rain inside of there, and it was just recently discovered.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that video.
Yeah, so it just. If we just discover that, and there's like this whole freaking, ecosystem that we didn't even know of, so we'll get to thinking that we've discovered the whole world, or if it's already been discovered, are they hiding it from us, right?
Well, think about it. Like they say, the ocean has just been discovered 5%, so we don't even know what the hell is out there
and
or
why,
in there.
And why did we stop? Or have we even stopped? Or did we discover something that they don't want to like tell the rest of the civilization, right? And it just so many different things. So, like for instance, like how they say, if the world is flat, right, and we let me ask you that. So if it is flat, you agree on the dome, right?
Yes.
That we're under a dome, right? So they say even in the Bible that God separated the earth from the waters above or something like that, right? Have you heard about that or no?
Yeah, I think so.
So they say, one of the stories or myths is that God separated this earth and he created this dome that's not able to be broken or penetrated to. That's why at times when you see rockets that they say, oh, like how they send rockets to space and they blow up or whatever, the reason why it blows up,
it hits the dome, but they say that supposedly get to a specific atmosphere and it just happens. But the thing is that so far currently right now that we haven't been able to penetrate that dome. And there's another one very, very popular saying that as above, so below, saying like, hey, there's water above and then there's water below. Yeah. And then that would make sense on why the sky is blue.
Yeah. And that was
exactly right.
And that was to my point, right? So I think it's that it might be just the water like above us being covered through this dome. That's why we see blue or
Yeah.
like at times clear or whatever the color may be at times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just super, super weird. You know what? I don't have it yet linked, but there was a video actually. I think I showed you the one with the stars that look like water. Did I ever show you that one or no?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, if you did, I don't remember.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Talk to me, Chilla. Talk to me.
Is there something currently like in this life right now that you have a phobia and you don't know why? Like you're so scared of something happening, but you don't know why because it's never happened to you.
Oh.
And you just like it scares you so much, like of it happening, but it's never happened to you right now. It might be something that you probably carry from another life.
Not that I can think of, but I think I know what you're talking about though. Do you have a phobia?
I have two.
Oh shit. Well, what is that?
I feel like for me, the first one, and I've always had this since I was a kid, is always getting in a car crash. And I've told you this one.
Yeah.
I feel like if I ever got in a car crash, and even if it was the smallest thing, I feel like I die.
Shit, sorry. Hold on. I don't know if it's gonna be this one. Okay, say that again, babe.
So I think I told you that not too long ago. Like I've always told Angel that I don't know why I'm so scared of like when we're driving. Like when Angel's driving, I'm like always like looking around. Like not that I don't trust you driving, but I'm always looking around like, oh, hold on, like this car or that car, because I'm just so scared of being in a car crash. And when I was younger, going back to the younger thing, I always dream of myself dying in a car crash. I've never been in a car crash, but I don't know why. For years and years and years, I always dream of myself dying in a car crash. And I don't know why, because knock on freaking wood, but I've never been in one. And I just remember seeing myself dying in the car crash scene.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if it's something like that I've carried like from before. And maybe it's just something that maybe, like you said, like I've tapped now and then to that timeline that I see myself like that. But even when I was younger, like for example, when I would go out to TJ, I would never trust anybody else driving us. Unless I was a DD, then I would do it.
Yeah.
Or we would cross walking, but I wouldn't trust anybody else driving us. What else? I think other than that, like the only person that I felt like comfortable driving and that I could actually like knock out in the car was my dad. But my mom, it was like, no. And then
Yeah.
Leslie tampoco. Like I'm always like looking out. And
I
it's
feel
just
like I'm a good driver.
You are a good driver, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird. And then the second thing is like, for example, when somebody's like cutting something with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that gives me so much anxiety. Like, I feel like I'm going to get stabbed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but she does. Cello does have that. Like at times when we're like, cooking something and I have the knife, and like I think once I did it like playing around or something like that. But that's when I first discovered that he had like that fear of like the knives. And
I don't know why though.
Yeah,
that in the car crash. I don't know why, but I've always had them since I was little till right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you know that they have. I think Chris had mentioned about that there's past life ratings.
I think it's called past life regression.
No,
I don't know.
Like angel readings or past life, something like that, right? But you're able to like go back and they're able to tell you like what happened and what lifestyle you had before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here, I don't know if this video is going to showcase what I wanted to show you. Are you able to see it there? Or you want me to put it on this screen?
No, I think I can see it better this way.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is... I don't know if this is going to showcase, but here, let me see. So supposedly that's how stars look when you zoom in. Right? And what does that look like? Right, let me see. I don't know if it's going to showcase. Are you able to see it there, babe, or no?
Ya no se mira bien.
No, a ver. No, I don't think it's showing.
Oh, there.
There was one that looked like, oh, okay, there we go. Look at that. Oh shit. Look at that.
Okay, I see what you're talking now.
Or like when you zoom into this is the one I wanted to show you. When you zoom into water, it looks just like the stars.
Yeah.
And it gets you thinking of what are stars, right?
Yeah.
Because in school, they always tell you that stars are gases, right? But dude, you can easily, at times you can see it like sparkling and moving from here. So that's why I don't know, like my mind always wonders, and you should question everything, because not everything that you see or hear about is always true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why at the beginning of the podcast, I said that kids' imagination and questions are super, super valid, because us as adults now, a lot of the times we get conditioned to what we've been told in the past in schools or through the media and out there. But as kids, your mind is fresh.
Yeah.
You're so curious that your imagination, there's no limits to your imagination.
But then if you think about that, at what point do you stop having that imagination? Like at what point of you transitioning from a kid to an adult, like at what age are you like, is it like, oh, like that's not normal for you to think like that anymore?
Yeah.
Because at one point, like when you're little, like let's say elementary, that's normal. But then it's like, at what point does it stop being normal and it's like, you're crazy now?
Right. And that's the thing. It might be because since you're getting conditioned, right, through school and all of that. So now if you go against the system, then that's when the people, the kids or your schoolmates, then them themselves are the ones that put down the other kids. So you don't want to ask those questions, or you don't even want to go against the grain. Why? Because then you get made fun of, or you don't want to look dumb, right?
Yeah.
But nobody knows in reality. So, but since as a kid, that's why they say that. And I'm not the biggest fan of like the whole school system, right? Because you literally sit there and they tell you what to think, what to do in life, and you get all this information just being dumped on that. At the end of the day, you're just like reciting things that they tell you it's right. But it doesn't allow the kid to imagine and question those things, right? Because if you question it, you're automatically wrong, right? What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I think that's true, because I mean, haven't you ever heard or you've seen videos where they compare the school system to the jail system or the prison system?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. So, man, I had another one about like vibration. I don't know if I should touch on that briefly. Yeah, I'll do that briefly, and then we'll wrap it up with the last one we had.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do. What time is it? We're an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
You just said yes, or can you actually see
No,
it?
I can see it. It's an hour, 10 minutes, 43 seconds.
Okay. All right. So let me see if I can pull this one up. It's about vibration. And the reason, like I said, this is just, maybe a lot of you guys are going to be like, what the heck? But hopefully at least I'm able to like get somebody's attention that at least it gets you like, oh man, I never thought about that. Or like, at least you guys find something of this podcast interesting. And let us know your thoughts. Let me see.
So then maybe will you say that you've never, or you don't have like a phobia like that in this lifetime?
And not that I can think of. All right, so I don't know if you can see it there. If not, I'll put it in this screen so you can check it out, Biv.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if it's more clear for you over there or here. What do you think?
I think for this one I'll just look over here.
Okay, so.
Oh, is it the hands one?
No, the one on the bottom.
Oh.
I'll lower down the music because so we didn't get copywritten. But are you able to see it right there?
Yeah, I can see it right there.
So here, I'll put it up a little bit. So what he's doing right there, he's playing music, right? He's playing music, but as the music and the vibration goes on, the water reacts to it, right? And as the water reacting to this vibration is that you're affecting the physical form of this matter, which is water, right? And on the side, you can kind of see there's some good quotes that I want to go back to so we can kind of touch on it, right? So here we have like, water being manipulated by sound vibration or whatever song, right? So here's a quote, I think this is Nikola Tesla. So it says, if you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. So when you think about that, like frequency and vibration, what do you think, or what comes to mind?
I think frequency, vibration, manifestation, and meditation, they all are linked together.
Right, because at the end of the day, your thoughts, whatever you say, whatever you speak on, everything comes into fruition. That's why they say that you need to be very, very careful
What you say.
to what you say, to what you listen to, who you're surrounded by, because it affects you and it impacts your current lifestyle. So same as whatever vibration was being pretty much played, it affected the water, the way that the water was forming. So let's continue going. So there you can see the water shaping based on whatever's being played. And so right there, right? So by different hertz right there, can you see it right there, Biff?
Yes.
So depending on the different hertz, the 345 hertz, 1033, it will create a different pattern, right? And so what it is right there, it's creating something physical, and it's crazy that it has geometrical figures or shapes, right? So what's causing, and this is when your mind can start running, right? Because if a specific vibration causes a specific shape, who is giving this intelligence to create a geometrical figure? So that's when nature comes into, for instance, when snowflakes fall from the sky and they have, those beautiful patterns, right? They say that there's no snowflake with the same pattern. So who's creating these patterns, right?
Yeah.
God, the creator's creating all of this. And there's a system created within the universe that there's a numerical system that whenever a specific vibration or whatever, it creates something such as the snowflake, or even through just nature in general. The bees, the beehives, they're all geometrically shaped. Why? Because whatever the vibration of the universe creates all these things. Let's see.
You know that when you meditate, you can also meditate to different hertz.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the meditation that the 15-minute meditation that I was doing back to back, there's this point in the meditation that it's like, oh, now think about I don't remember if it says hertz or they call it the frequency that you want to vibrate at. And then every time that I get to that part, I always get like this random ass number.
That's interesting. For instance, right here, and I've always said that, right?
Yeah.
And in the beginning was the word. So at times people take the Bible like very literate, right? But what if what they're saying right there in the beginning is the word? What it is that in the beginning it was like sound waves, right? So what sound, vibration, all of that, what if that's what created everything? Or what if somebody spoke something into fruition and it created all of this, which we call our reality, right? Our life. And just a little bit more and we'll finish up. We'll wrap it up.
Haven't you seen those videos too where I think they made an experiment on this, like the way that you talk to plants too? Yeah,
and I was gonna get to that. Yeah, so it says the section through the long body of the DNA molecule demonstrates an exceptional relationship between the star decagon, 10-sided, and the golden ratio pentagon. So it's crazy. So I guess the DNA within itself has something very similar to the golden ratio. I'm not the most savviest, but it really gets my mind running when it comes down to these topics. And this is pretty much what you were saying, Biff. So, for instance, I'm not sure exactly I don't know if this is rice or whatever, but they say that, for instance, here, I'm not sure what this thing was inside of these jars, but to Chelo's point was that if you put like any type of food and if you speak with it with love, with nothing, or with hate, you see the different reactions that your words, right, your vibration that you're setting, your intention, it affects and it impacts creation, right? So right there you can see love. It is still like nice and it still looks healthy. Nothing is just doing its thing. But when you send hate to something,
moldy.
Yeah, it looks moldy. It looks bad, and it looks rotten, right? So your words and your intention really, really impacts your physical realm. And I think that wraps it up for that one, babe. Anything else that you wanted to add? You were saying something about flowers or plants.
Oh, that they did an experiment on. It's the same thing like that, but it was the way that you talk to a plant. And they had like the same type of plant. I don't remember what plant it was, but it was the same type of plant. And when one of them, it would get watered, and then they would talk to the plant with love, and it was like all nice. And the other one, like they would water it, and they would talk to it with hate.
Yeah. And
then you could, like, after, I don't remember how long they did it for, but the one that they would talk to it with hate, like it was like, it was all ugly. Yeah. And the other one like flourished and everything, but that was basically the experiment, the way that you talk to the plants.
Okay, should we do, you tell me, Biff, should we do the video that we were talking about, or should we wrap it up there? What do you think?
I'm like looking at the time right now.
It's 1 hour and 20. Or you think we can squeeze it in real quick? And
I think we can squeeze it in real quick.
All right. So, something else that we want to go ahead and react to is pretty much like the viral video of the week. Not sure if this is going to be like the viral video week, or we're just going to pick random videos. Or if you guys like have something for the next week's episode, to send it our way. My goal is to, no matter who the person is on the podcast, that we react to a viral video of the week, or anything that you guys want to send us our way. But yeah, I really, really want to include these segments of the viral video of the week, and we'll react to it. And I think Chelo brought one up. So since Chelo brought that one up, she's going to speak on it right now. So let's go ahead and play the intro for this.
El video viral de la semana. The viral video of the week en Hoy No Más Podcast.
All right, babe. So what is the viral video of the week? Talk to us just briefly.
So basically I found this girl. I think I follow this girl on TikTok, but it caught my attention because she does like get readies with me. And basically she started saying that she used to be a 6-figure makeup artist, and she used to make really good money. And then all of a sudden she said that one day she just didn't feel like it was her thing anymore. She quit doing makeup and she started working at McDonald's. So now she does get ready with me to like go work at McDonald's and do like a 9 to 5.
And you sent me the video right of when she was getting ready to go to work. But and then while I'm playing that video, you said that you think there was more to it. So
in the video, the video that I sent you, she used to make 6 figures, I believe, a year, doing makeup. And then she said that she doesn't know. I guess she doesn't know why. Like she all of a sudden she just didn't feel like it was her thing anymore. And then that's when she's like, "Oh, I'll just get a regular job." And that's when she started working at McDonald's. And then I sent you the other video right now of the other girl reacting to the McDonald girl. Yeah. And she said like, "Oh, this is what happens when somebody does voodoo on you," because this girl just fell out of it for no reason. And from one day to another, she's like, it was because somebody didn't want her to be succeeding in the field that she was succeeding at. That's why they're like, "Oh, we need to get rid of her in this field." And that's why she probably feels the way that she feels, and that's why she probably went to work at McDonald's.
That's crazy. Here we'll play a little bit of the creator that Chelo's talking about.
Girl, if you would have told me I was gonna go from
Hold on, why is it so low?
I probably wouldn't have believed you. Get ready with me as I prepare myself to go my ass to work. Now,
Oh, I
to
think I
make
lowered it.
a little bit
Yeah, you lowered it with Joanna.
like doing makeup on the side, like in 2017, I started to see my business grow. Girl, if you would have told me I was gonna go from being a 6-figure makeup artist to slinging McChickens, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Get ready with me as I prepare myself to go my ass to work. Now, to back things up a little bit, I started freelancing, like doing makeup on the side, like in 2017. I started to see my business growing because at that time in 2017, there wasn't a lot of freelance makeup artists as there are today. Opened up me a shop and I did some great things with makeup, and I have worked with some of the who's who. But somewhere between 2020 and 2021, I realized that my passion for my craft had started to depreciate. Makeup had became so vain to me. Like, I started canceling appointments. I didn't care if it was your engagement, your birthday, girl. Once I sent you that deposit back, it was nothing else for us to talk about. But then I started feeling real bad, and I asked myself, Self, why are you like this? And then I realized that I really did not have the passion for the business anymore. So instead of me just staying in a field that I was no longer passionate about, I got up and I left. Because why are you hustling? You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the passion for it no more. So now it's a hustle for you. You're getting into it with clients. Your retention rate is really, really low. And you're just giving yourself a headache. You know the calling that God has on my life. And right now he has called me to serve at McDonald's. And until he tell me that it's time to go, I will be there serving and being obedient. Girl, if you...
Dude, that's so crazy.
Like, you go from 6 figures to like, okay, I'm gonna make half of that.
Right. But obviously she's still making money out of content because she has a big following from what I can tell.
Yeah.
But that's weird for her to go back to work, or maybe that was her plan, maybe to go viral, or she was already big before.
I don't think so. I remember the first video I saw her was, I think it was this one.
Yeah, I wonder if that was even a tactic, right? For like, oh, I'm gonna do this and say I'm going back to work to go viral. But he said, so you don't know if she was already famous before or like big?
No, I just remember like running into one of these videos that she talked about this.
That's interesting. It's funny that she said, hey, if this is my calling right now to go work at McDonald's, then I'm going to be obedient. Mm-hmm. That's crazy, huh?
And then look at the other one that
we'll just look at the comments real quick. And they say, the first comment is, girl, I thought the uniform was a flight attendant at first.
Oh my God.
You choose self over $1, true sign of humility and a greater calling. Not every hobby is meant to be monetized, and that's okay. That's true. At the end of the day, is, hey, if you just want to do things as a hobby and just if you're fine with that, it is. But
she even said she had a place, like a shop for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You didn't hear that part?
Nah.
She said that. I think that's when you were like going back and forth with the audio, but I'm pretty sure she said she had a shop.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So real and humble. God will multiply your blessings. McDonald's paid for my first degree, period. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows if it was a tactic for her to actually
go viral or just create more traction. But that's interesting. You never know at times. That's why they say, like, even you had told me that I should get limpias or things like that, right? Or we should, but because you just never know what people are like putting out there. But knock on wood, by the way. Yeah. But anything else, baby, that we didn't touch on? No, you were not going to show them second video you sent you? Oh, okay.
The second video was just that, pretty much saying that it might have been voodoo.
Yeah, basically.
So any final words?
No, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, so Chelo's currently 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks approximately from giving birth. So wish us luck. We pretty much at this moment, it's any time now, I guess. So right after this podcast, we'll probably grab something to eat and and then continue getting ready for the baby. There's still a lot
stuff to do.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things that we need to get ready. So if you're new to the channel, or if you watch some of our episodes, or if you got to this point, what emoji should we tell them to put? Put the alien one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like an eye one? A triangle one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the eye or an alien. Put the only the single eye for the being woke, for the third eye. So the eye or an
the
alien. If you got to this point, that way we know who really watched the full episode. But yeah, once again, like if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We're still trying to grow the channel. Yeah, let us know what you guys liked. Let us know if you guys like the call-in, if you guys like the reaction. We plan on doing the viral video of the week more often, no matter who the guest is, and just we're trying to make this podcast better as time goes on. Cool. All right. Once again, my name is Angel Houseman.
And Cello.
Like I always like to say, it's a bigger risk, not taking a risk. No matter. One of my coworkers says, "Oh, you always say take a risk, not taking a risk. So why don't you quit and do that?" Like, obviously, like, dude, like, it's not that simple. But the whole goal and thing is that give it your best shot. Obviously, if I had the means and all that, yeah, I would do it. And I have my own responsibilities. Well, I have responsibilities, but I hope the what you take from that quote is that at least you're taking one step daily in that direction of actually fulfilling your goals and dreams. Till next time.
Bye.